It's not going to be something where, income comes in immediately. It took me like 6 or 7 years before I made $1 off of it.
Meet Kellen Goff, a voice actor who has given life to countless characters, from Five Nights at Freddy's icons like Funtime Freddy, Glamrock Freddy, Sun, Moon, and even Foxy in the Five Nights at Freddy's movie, to characters like Fiddlesticks in League of Legends and the Bloater in The Last of Us Part 2. He's also voiced some fan-favorite anime characters like Overhaul from My Hero Academia, Diavolo from JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, and Porco in Attack on Titan. Kellan's voice has become legendary, and I had the chance to sit down with him on Behind the Mic to talk about his journey through voice acting. I always love hearing about how people start out when they got into voice acting, so why don't you walk us through a little bit about your beginnings and what led you from theater to voice acting?
Yeah, I started with the theater, but that was in elementary school. That's how I learned I really liked acting and all that. But the voice acting part of it really came when I was doing animations and machinima, a word that doesn't get tossed around much anymore, when I was 13 coming up on the internet, and we did that from Super Smash Brothers Brawl. So, again, to date me. And we just had a little solid community there, and we would all, none of us had money to hire like professional voice actors, so we would all just voice act for each other's stuff. And the more I did it, the more I was like, this is there's something here. I really liked the idea that I could play past, my physicality, which, in traditional theater you do anyway, but this just made it so much more overt and convincing, to not just to the audience, but to me. I really felt like I was a 50-foot dragon. Not that I don't still, but at this moment. But yeah, that's really how the bug started. And then my father, ever supportive, thank goodness for him, he's also an entertainment lawyer, so he found a VO class by Bob Bergen, who's the voice of Porky Pig, and he was like, hey, I know he's my son, but he's got something, he described him, and Bob's like, oh no, he sounds like me. Okay, bring him in. So I got to be the first minor in Bob Bergen's classes, and the bug hit me from there. I went on to study with Richard Horvitz, David Sobolov, Charlie Adler, Debbie Derryberry, a host of people, and it's just been magic ever since.
Yeah, I'll say, because you've voiced some iconic characters from Five Nights at Freddy's. You've done Funtime Freddy, Glamrock Freddy, Sun, Moon, and even in the film, you were Foxy. How did you approach giving each character a distinct personality, and how did that come about?
Well, the autism helps. There are a lot of voices bouncing around in my head at any given moment. It does help, though, because when I look at something like character sides or whatever, I tend to analyze not only the language they're using, but the way they're saying it. If I'm blessed enough to have art for it, I analyze that, the physicality, every bit of that there. But separating them sort of just comes from my own OCD of not wanting one to sound too much like the other within the same franchise, because I like being able to hide within a different character. One of my favorite feelings in the world is somebody saying, "That's you too?" And I'm like, yeah, it worked. I hid. No, but generally when, they're coming from a different motivation, they're coming from a different background, they have a different physicality to them, they're going to sound different, whether it be in their colloquialisms, their accent, their, whether they're round or very thin, there are a lot of different lot of science to it that I've just automated because it just comes now.
Yeah, I think you described it like pretty good. Was like basically hiding in different characters sometimes, and like obviously because like you were a voice actor in the video game, but you were also in the movie, and so when it came to like voicing Foxy, like what was it like to watch a character that you had voiced make the jump from game to film?
That was surreal, man. I mean, you do this in your parents' house when you're like, what was I, like 19, 20 for the first time. You don't think it's going to end up, getting a movie adaptation. Goodness, yeah. No. So seeing them on the big screen, Jim Henson Workshop did an incredible job with bringing them to life. Everybody on that film, Emma Tammy, Scott, of course, everybody did incredible bringing them to life on the big screen there. And I actually didn't really get to see, that connection between Foxy and my voice until way later. The story of how I got Foxy is actually a pretty interesting avant-garde one for the industry, if you'd like to hear a summation of it real quick. So I was at Shakespeare camp like any good actor. No, it was a really fun thing because I had studied Shakespeare a little bit before, but I had never really gotten to deep dive into it. So my friend Maddie Morris was like, hey, we got this month-long intensive. You want to be my roommate? I'm like, yeah, sure. Where are we going? Middle of Massachusetts, nowhere. It in the middle of January, so everything snowed in. It was the complete opposite of Cali boys coming up. So I was a bit of a fish out of water, but that's okay. In acting, you're supposed to be anyway. So it informed the performances. But the intensive was on the nose. It was quite time consuming, which it should be. I'm very grateful that we had so much time to tackle everything, but there wasn't a lot of time to breathe. Our days off were just like laundry and reloading toiletries. That's the breath that we got. I think on a Wednesday, on the second or third week of it, Scott was like, hey, so we got something, but we need it now. I'm like, now? I don't really have a professional mic with me. Are you sure? And he's like, yeah, just use your phone. I'm like, okay, yeah, sure. That is never what we do, especially for a big screen film. But Scott has always been a man of let's do it now and let's make it work. And I do respect the energy that comes from that. And it makes great stories like this. So our dorm rooms were it was windows up top and then a bunch of white walls that you could tap and you would hurt your hand. So it was not the ideal recording space, but voice actors make it work wherever we can. So I propped my covers over my head, as you do, to get that sound dampening thing, and I just sort of spoke into the best corner of the room I could with as much padding and pillows as I could, and it still came out a bit echoey, and I'm like, I'm sorry, this is really the best I can get. And he's like, he's a robot in the middle of a hallway, this is perfect. I'm like, okay, fair enough. He's a broken robot in the middle of a hallway, so yeah, this is a-okay. They don't even have to add much in post.
No, unintentional success.
Yeah. Well, unintentional means of practical effects for audio. So he had me do a pass with a bit more echo and stuff, and sent those off, and then heard later yeah, we used it, so let's get the paperwork going. Okay. So I recorded it on this phone right here.
Oh my god. We've had some like stories like across different interviews, and you always think you're never going to hear something that'll like top it, or something that's totally unique. But no, that's definitely up there, because needing to use your phone to record a line for a blockbuster film.
Yeah, it was like it's unique to everyone I tell too. There's some people that are like, oh yeah, I'm hearing more about that now. People just record on their phones. I'm like, really? This is becoming but then I think, well, I guess phone mics are really getting like usable.
Yeah.
We live in a very new age, Tanner.
So you've voiced some massive characters, not just in video games.
Some thin ones too.
And
sorry. Go ahead.
Some nice comedic input. Oh, it's so funny. You've done some thin and some big characters, but you've also done some massive anime characters. So JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, My Hero Academia, and Attack on Titan.
Yeah.
Which of these roles would you say pushed you the hardest as an actor? Like, what did you take away from it?
That's multifaceted. There are so many ways to push yourself as an actor, yeah? Overhaul pushed me because that was my first big anime role ever. The past, like, a few lines or one episode feature. That was like a big leap in trust that our director and casting director Colleen Clickenbeard gave me. She is awesome, and I owe a lot to her. She taught me much. But being new to the scene back in 2017, the professional scene, anyhow. It was a lot of like, okay, here we go. The push was finally utilizing everything that I had trained for and hoping that it was all correct. Which, there is no correct in this industry, but I feel like it at least fit, hopefully. And then Diavolo was a push because obviously he is a screaming madman. He just and to be fair, that's the way I took him. There are interpretations to be made when you dub a character. You can go 1-to-1, or you can sort of make it more you to make it feel more natural. And I just saw him as this, when things weren't going his way, he threw tantrums. That's how I saw it. So I was going all in. Plus with the JoJo's Bizarre Adventure fandom, there has been some skepticism about the English dub, and that comes down to preference. Everybody I've heard on it has done a wonderful job. So, but there's always been sort of those dub sub wars going on. So I at least wanted to put my all into it to give them something to debate at least. It came, we halfway through recording, March 2020 hit, and whatever happened then, everybody got really mad and started separating. I can't remember what happened though, but yeah, so we all scrambled to get booths really quick, and I was sort of using a bit of that a bit of that nervous energy to inform the performance, and it was very therapeutic to scream a bit. But I did need some vocal rest after we were done with him.
Oh yeah. KG Tang, who was like one of our previous interviews, he mentioned like how he basically was spitting up blood after doing a shouting take as well.
Yeah. No, so we can go very hard into it. It's it is most definitely a volatile process. We have to, and we all know when to tap out, of course, but sometimes it's just so fun, and we know the art is going to come out so good that sometimes we just can't help ourselves.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and then Porco Galliard in Attack on Titan, that was a test because I had never done much subtlety up until that point. There had been some with Overhaul, but not quite the war-torn, like, jaded, like, beat down for generations subtlety that you need for a soldier like Porco. And so before every recording session, I watch Saving Private Ryan in full. That sort of got me into, no lies, it got me into the right headspace for it. And he did have his screamy moments, of course, but like the subtle moments that we got to me and the director Mike McFarland, amazing dude, amazing human, love him to bits. We got really deep into the emotional sorry, there's a fly in there. We got saying the sad stuff, and then like this fly comes down as to say, hey, you're serious. No, but we got into the emotion of it. It's something that I do every now and again, but not quite as viscerally as I did with Mike on AOT.
Yeah. And you touched on something that I was going to really leak into my next question, really. So you mentioned Saving Private Ryan for Porco's lines. So would you say that maybe referencing or viewing another piece of media creates more inspiration for creating a new voice, or would you say you maybe also start with like the art of whatever it is you're voicing or the script?
It's different for each project. I do my best to watch as much media, current and past, as I can, to hopefully glean some inspiration for stuff, even inadvertently. You can it's not really thought about much how much our experiences shape the way we talk, approach, and do and speak. Like you have a girlfriend from the Republic of Ireland, and she grew up there, you'd say? Yeah, so surely, very different cultures you and her have had growing up. Would you say that maybe inadvertently she's inspired you into some different ways of thinking, talking, being, approaching? Yeah, so media can do that in spades. So I like watching, as many different types of that as I can. Now, if it intentionally inspires the art, I unfortunately cannot say, because autism takes the reins more often than not. but I mean, I listen back and I'm like, oh, that has to have come from somewhere, because I didn't grow up saying the things that I improv'd in that take,
I'm not a voice actor, but I definitely feel like there's like so many different types of voices, because I play D&D. I listen to podcasts and things like that. And
you're an actor then, yeah. D&D does it. It's acting straight up.
Yeah, no, because I sometimes find myself doing like a voice that I would describe as like, oh, a goblin miner would be saying something like this, something very stupid, but
yeah, he brought up in the mines. Nobody knew more than rocks and pickaxe. That's it.
Oh no. So you've built a huge following across social media, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok. How has connecting with fans online impacted your career and opportunities, or even just your outlook on voice acting?
Well, I mean, I'm a huge fan of everything they're a fan of generally. Like, I was a fan of Five Nights at Freddy's before I came onto the project. I was a big fan. I'm still a big fan of Spider-Man. I'm loving here, just to date the podcast here, I'm loving the brand new day stuff we're seeing there. So to be able to work on something like that, yeah, okay. Yes. I just saw today they were like doing the practical swinging set. Yep. Did you see that?
Just in Glasgow, just down the street.
Hey, that's right. They're filming over. Oh my God, why aren't you over there?
Because I'm here. I'm talking to you.
I'm honored, but dude, you're stupid. Get over there. Tom Holland's over that way, man. We gotta reschedule.
Yeah. I've been kicking myself because like I've been in the office and and every time I've like attempted to go over there, I've just been sidetracked.
No worries, man. I'm sure they're going to be filming there for a second too.
Yeah.
But just to say, I'm a huge fan of like everything I work on. At least I tried to be. You know, I binge watched JoJo's Bizarre Adventure with my roommate before we even started production. And even before that, I was reading it. I loved My Hero Academia beforehand because I'm mad into superheroes, and it was peak already. And Attack on Titan I was into in high school. So it's very easy to talk to fans and stuff because I'm a big geek like them. And I find that their interpretations of stuff, their thoughts on it can very much inform what I bring to the table when I start to record for it. Like when we were recording Help Wanted 2, there was this TikTok meme going around. Well, it's been going around to this day of this beatboxer who did this thing, that thing. So we were going to, they're like, okay, we got a birthday song for you to sing as Glamrock Freddy. I'm like, so you know how sometimes you like lead into a song and you do like a little to lead into it, and they're like, yeah. And I was like, what if we used this meme? The community would the fans would go crazy. They're like, that's brilliant. Yes, let's do that. Because sometimes it doesn't even occur to them. They're trying to make something, new to keep it fresh for the fans, and they're like, oh yeah, that's right. So it sometimes it's a perfect bridge. It's a perfect fusion. But that's of course when they let me get away with it.
Yeah. Oh God. No, because embracing meme culture, and like especially when you are the person behind the meme they're making, infinite possibilities for fan interaction, I would say.
It's incredible. It's almost too much opportunity. I'm like, what can I do with this moment to make it really good in this moment? But we only have 2 hours. Wait. Try and get something to mind really quick to make most of the moment.
Final question. Unfortunately, this is the final question. Is there anything that you would say from your journey to someone who might be thinking about starting out in the voice acting industry?
See, it's really weird now. I always say, like, there's no one way to get into it. There are a lot of common factors. Theater is a common thing among us because we all learn how to, we all cut our teeth there. We learn how to act across from somebody else. So we can emulate it later in the booth. It used to be that you could, if you were cast on an animated series, you would come into the booth and act with everybody else, an ensemble session. But unfortunately, it seems more and more those are going the way of the dodo. So it's like a lot of us acting, in small rooms like this by ourselves. And all we can really do is remember our time in theater and bring it, to the mic best we can, re-emulate it. But I would say find your tribe. That's something timeless. I feel like you're going to find a ton of people who want to get into this just like you do, and that is a strength because you can lift each other up. I am still friends to this day with people that I came up with on the voice acting club forums growing up. Voice acting tends to be an industry where we like to help out each other a lot. So if you really, the best way to do this is together. To learn to act in front of other people is very important, because the booth can be enticing because it seems like you're, you know, far removed from the anxieties of being on stage. But I mean, when you go into a session, you're going to have the directors, the producers, the writer there, maybe heads of a studio if it's something bigger. You know, it's a muscle that you want to work out, to be able to act truthfully under imaginary circumstances in front of other people. So I would say get that muscle strong and find your tribe online. The Voice Acting Club actually still exists as I think there are forums, but there's also a Discord server that you know, people can join and talk about voice acting, and they do it all the time. Yeah, just I would say don't rush into the professional aspect of it. I'd say play around for a while. It's not going to be something where, you know, income comes in immediately. It took me like 6 or 7 years before I made $1 off of it. It's something that you gotta love because you love doing it, you know?
Yeah. I'm so sad that this has to end, but Kellan, it has been a joy and a pleasure speaking with you today. Thank you so much for doing this.
Likewise, Tanner. It was a pleasure talking with you, man. Yeah, I love your energy, and I wish we could nerd out more about Marvel stuff all day.
Oh my god, me too. Me too.
But you got to get over to Tom.
Yeah, I got to get over to Tom. I got to go.
Yeah.
I got to go say hi. I got to go
see
throw
you
on my
in...
Spider-Man suit.
We're going to see you in set photos later in the background in the crowd, and that'll be the post-credit scene for this interview.
Oh no. So, Kellan, thank you so much. It's been an honor.
Sure, man. Anytime. This is a lot of fun.
Thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, then leave a like and a comment below, and subscribe if you want to see more voice actor interviews like this in the future.